Okay, so this is my monthly Ride to Work video. It's 10th of August 2020. Once again, it's a fake Ride to Work video. I'm still furloughed. Been furloughed since the 24th, I think, of March, so in my fourth or fifth month. Although this is a fake Ride to Work video, I am going down to work to try and find out what's happening. I've got holidays booked to end it this month, although I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. Doesn't seem to be any point. The thing is, I was going to do a cycle tour up in Scotland, but there's various rules on the campsites I'd be staying at. Some seem to have the facilities, the shared facilities open. Some don't. Some say you've got to book. So I had replanned it to do like what I'd call a coast to coast to coast. Starting from Whitehaven, going over to South Shields, and then coming back to Whitehaven, but along a different route, along the Hadrian's Wall route. But once again, you're getting conflicting reports on where you can stay and what you can do. The campsites saying you've got to book, well, some are, some aren't. It just gets really confusing. I tend to stay at campsites because of the cheapness, but also it's the flexibility. If you could just rock up and pitch your tent, you could stay a couple of days if it's like torrential rain, which I've done before now when I was up in Scotland. If you book places, you've got to stick to those bookings, which is hard work if you're having to cycle through rain for like 5 hours, which is another thing I've done. Absolutely saturated at that point. That were another one up in Scotland. So I probably won't be doing any cycle touring this year. This year's been a total loss for anything like that. Although it's been good for local cycling and walking with no cars on road and stuff. The weather for this week, or for last month, for July, it's been quite a mixed bag. Fairly warm though, been a few coldish days, 2 or 3 really hot days in 30s, but very mixed bag, as you'd expect as a British summer. I know on Sunday I went up Kerborough Hill, first time I've been up there. Managed to get up it without stopping. So it's not as hard as Winnets Pass. Up Winnets Pass I had to stop like 4 times. Jeez, that was embarrassing. Alright, I'm testing out a new mount. My mountain bike, I normally use a chest mount on my mountain bike. But my mountain bike's died. It needs some new gears, well, new chain ring and chain and all that sort of stuff. It was just slipping over the chain ring. You just couldn't ride it anymore. So I'm on what I call, or the bike I've named Mula Negra. It's a Marin 4 Corners. It's the one I use for touring. I barely use it. I only ever use it for touring. It's a good bike, all steel, heavy, really heavy. It's marketed as a gravel bike, but I don't know. It seems it's got really weird geometry. I won't call it well, it is a gravel bike. It's chunky-ish tyres. It's a drop bar. It's really heavy, but it's got a triple chain set, and it's not what I consider to be gravel. It's good for touring. It's really good for me. I love it for touring, but I can't use it on a day-to-day basis. It's just too heavy, and that triple chain ring is just too complicated for me. But I've got a new GoPro mount on the handlebars. I had a GoPro 7 and the mount on it fitted differently and I considered to be better. This one's a bit, I've got to put it on the handlebars to one side, whereas on the GoPro 7 mount I could put it smack bang in the middle. I might have to try a different mount, but seeing as I'm not going to be doing any touring this year, I doubt if I'll bother too much with it. It is weird because both my other bikes are fairly old. My road bike is really old and worn. The gears are worn and chain rings are worn, but it still works. Obviously my mountain bike's died. But because I've barely used this, I've barely done what, 300-400 miles on it. Everything's so crisp, the gearing, you know, the chain's brand new. It's really good, but it's a shame it's stuck in the shed for so long. But yeah, I try and keep it sort of newish, because if I'm touring, I don't want it failing on me. So my mountain bike, I have, I'm experimenting, changing it to single speed, just for a while, just until I get the parts. I've already got a new cassette for it. I just need a chain. Well, I'm changing the whole crankset. The crankset on my mountain bike, it's just too long, so I'm gonna get a shorter version, a Shimano Dior crankset, and obviously I need a chain for it as well. But before I do that, I thought I'd just experiment with a single speed. So I've tried that. I've got the DMR single speed conversion kit. Now, because my mountain bike's through axle, I can't fit the chain tensioner on it, or it just don't work. Just don't work like I want it to, as far as I could see anyway. Anyway, messing around with it, I've actually put the chain on without the chain tensioner. It kind of seems to be working, but it also seems to be chewing up the chain ring what I've put on it. It's a narrow wide one, and the wide teeth on it, it's getting chewed up, so I can't imagine it lasting very long. I'm sure the chain line's right. The chain, I don't think it's over tight, but I had a bit of a job getting on. Obviously, it's not designed to be single speed. It ain't got those horizontal dropouts. It's through axle, and well, I'm just testing it at the moment, see how it goes. Yeah, so I normally talk to the camera while I'm riding, but I thought I'd just test this out, doing a voiceover rather than talking to the camera. So we'll see how that goes. I don't really have like a room to talk in, because it gets quite echoey, but I just thought I'd have a go doing the voiceover rather than talking to the camera. So there we go. Anyway, I'm almost at work. I'll switch you off and go and find out what's happening with my furlough. The guy who I work with, who does a similar sort of job to me, he went back beginning of August, but I've not heard anything from him, so that's why I'm going down now.